Hi, I'm Jasmine and I'm your host for today's episode. Firstly, I'd love to welcome everyone back for a new season of the Chai Uni podcast. And today we're going to be talking about different jobs and different side hustles that we can have at university, whether it's beneficial with our studies, whether it fits in, and what types of jobs are available for students. And I'd love to welcome to the podcast the two guests, James and Jack. So can you both tell me a little bit about yourselves, what year you're in your studies, and your name?
So my name is James. I'm a third year esports student for a Bachelor of Honours, and I am currently staying in the Bognor campus of the University of Chichester, and it's really exciting. I'm from Brighton, actually, a Brighton area, and gone about an hour from here, and it's really good, the campus. Obviously, I studied esports in college, but now studying it in university, we're doing business, sport, psychology, nutrition, sports science, a lot more things than you would at college or anything, and it's been a really good experience. Been at both Bognor and Chichester campus. It's been a really good experience.
Look, amazing.
And my name's Jack. I'm second year outdoor adventure education. I'm actually originally from Belfast over in Northern Ireland. The pure reason I ended up on the south coast was just because when you went on to UCAS and looked up outdoor adventure, this was like one of maybe 15 that came up. So yeah, this is my favourite option of them all, and I'm here.
Super exciting. So before we get started, we have a glass of some different questions. So James, why don't you grab one and share it with the group, and we'll do a little icebreaker.
So favourite way to relax after a long day? So I'd definitely say after a lot of lectures and a lot of lessons, a lot of study, and definitely just like to hop on the games, play with some friends, maybe have some pizza on the side, watch some YouTube. It's a nice sort of wind down. I do believe in having especially after a long, hefty bit of work, definitely rewarding yourself and creating a good balance.
I'm at 100%.
Yeah, nice. I'll grab one. Let's see. What we've got. We've got one word to describe yourself. I'm going to say outgoing. I like to think I give off an outgoing vibe to anyone who meets me, whether that's around campus or through hockey or through my role up at the SU working. I'd like to think I give off a friendly outgoing vibe.
Nice. I'm going to pick one. I've got, what's your favourite thing about your course? I think mine, we actually have street dance. We're one of the only MT courses that have street dance. We have an outside lecturer coming, Chris Todd. He's amazing. And that's one of my favourite classes of the week. So I definitely say that because it's quite unique, which is super exciting. So, Jack, you study outdoor and adventure education and you're in your second year. So what do your contact hours look like?
Yeah, so I'm actually not in a massive amount compared to a lot of the other courses. So I think at the moment I'm in about 10 to 12 hours a week. That's not necessarily including kind of our practical hours. So we do a lot of practical stuff, whether that's on the water, it can be down at West or East Witt, or there's a local lake nearby we go to. But yeah, so it could be up to near 20 a week. It just kind of depends what we're doing and how the weather is.
Oh, nice. So, and James, you're studying esports and you're in your third year. So what about you? What are your contact hours like, especially for third year and dissertations?
Yeah, so definitely similar to Jack, it's about 10 to 12 hours a week, but obviously we're expected to about double the amount of time normally outside of lessons, whether that is doing our own sort of self-work, doing self-employment work or doing extra work or just there's a lot of our work is also doing the research as well, coursework. It's only a couple of exams in the entire course. So yeah, I'd say even though it's only 10, 12 hours, it's definitely setting aside like another 20 hours even outside. So it's definitely, along with doing research right now, sometimes it does take a few hours, but especially doing the subjects you enjoy, it's worth it, really.
Yeah, amazing. So am I right in saying you both have jobs or side hustles while you're doing your studies? Can you
Yes.
both tell me a bit about what you do?
So I work at a bowling alley right now in Chichester, temping, and I'm currently a customer service assistant. So I do various things. I deal with parties. I deal with any sort of laser tag, any bowling lanes, cleaning it up, and managing any sort of drinks on the bar. And yeah, that sort of thing is really good to keep in a routine alongside my work ethic. I find really getting out there, getting some fresh air, especially even if it's just on the way to and from, really creates a good sort of routine. And yeah, I'm happy to have a
Yeah.
side hustle. Yeah.
Oh, nice. So what about you?
I'm lucky enough to be the digital content producer for the Students' Union there. So we kind of maintain kind of their social media profile for the Students' Union across the uni. That's kind of something I managed to land back in September, and it's purely content creation is something I've really been interested in since COVID, and I've done on TikTok and on Instagram and stuff. And when I got that, I was just very happy. And this year's been incredible. Getting out with the students and recording with the students and getting them involved, it's just felt quite nice to be out and involved in campus. But yeah.
It must be like a really rewarding experience and nice from your studies as well.
Oh yeah,
A
it's
lovely
so
break.
fun.
So James, why did you start working?
So I started working towards my second year. So about a year or so ago, I worked in a cafe, and yeah, I wanted like something to do in the summer, because the summer can be definitely a long time, especially staying on private accommodation. You definitely have a few months where you sort of down a little bit, like down a lot of downtime. So good to get out there. I find I didn't get a job in the first year because I just wanted to enjoy the university life, but as I progressed forward, sort of took my time, go into it, time to adjust. And yeah, I managed to have like a sort of part-time job before, but now securing a lot more sort of permanent job, and alongside streaming as well. But obviously we'll get into that very likely. But yeah, so yeah.
Yeah, so how many hours do you roughly do now with your studies work-wise?
So with work-wise, I mean, overall in terms of in lesson and online doing study, probably about like 30 hours a week, I'd say. And then obviously with work as well, maybe like 10 to 12, about 10 to
So
20
quite
hours.
jam-packed.
Yeah.
So Jack, is flexibility important to you to fit around lectures and deadlines, and how do you manage that?
Yeah, massively. It's something I've really kind of had to learn this year compared to last year. So this year, like I said, I work with the SU, and then I've got my contact hours with uni, but I also am an Oddballs Foundation ambassador. So anyone who doesn't know what Oddballs Foundation is, it's like testicular cancer awareness, and I managed to gain that role this year, and that involves me going out in the community and the local schools and delivering these talks just about testicular cancer awareness. So for me, balancing the job, my charity role, and then life or studies as a student, it's been something I've kind of had to learn. So flexibility, kind of the main thing I've taken from that is being busy isn't a bad thing. Like last year where I just had uni, I could just focus on that and then a bit of fun. Whereas this year I've learned being busy really isn't a bad thing at all.
No, it does, like, it takes all of your mind off everything. But also, like you said about the charity, is that like really rewarding? And it's quite different to your course as well.
Yeah, massively. I mean, it's something this year of I've never not been scared of public speaking, but I've gone from where I wouldn't public speak much at all to I've spoken in rooms of up to 2,000 pupils this year. And that's really kind of made my self-confidence a lot more than it was originally. But yeah, it's massively different to anything I've done in uni. And I think uni is one of those times in life where you have to kind of try new things,
Yes.
especially when you're this age as well. So that's kind of the reason why I did it in the first place.
So some of the most popular ways students can earn money can be about freelancing with photography, social media, tutoring, delivery work with like Uber Eats, event work with festivals and concerts, and selling goods online with Vinted, Depop and TikTok Shop. And also the University of Chichester actually offer jobs, as you said, with like the student shop and the bar work. So what ones do you think are really easy to take on top of contact hours?
So for me personally, I've also endeavoured into the ambassador program, so helped out with open days, with photo shoots, just with helping the students, upcoming students, be able to have a really good look around the campus. That's been a really good opportunity had there. Definitely met some new connections there as well. And there's ambassador stuff, getting some good photo shoots, just showcasing the uni. It's definitely not too stressful, like that sort of job, especially as a first or second year sort of student coming into it. It's definitely a good role to be able to look into.
Amazing. What about you?
Yeah, I'd say for any incoming or current students, obviously we have jobs on campus you can get involved in, which are very handy, especially when at uni. But something I think students should really tap into is kind of the online digital creation market. It's something I've kind of done since about 2020, and I used to do just really simple phone edits and amassed a decent following online. And that's actually quite a good way to earn money. And I think I see a lot of students making content online, and I know there's quite a few students around campus that do have a following, and that is, I wouldn't say an easy way to get money, but it's quite a good way to get money, especially as a student, because anybody can go and
Yeah,
film
it's a
themselves.
stepping stone, isn't
Yeah.
it? I've started doing TikTok Shop.
Yeah,
And then you get
exactly.
all like the free products and then you make the commission, and
yeah,
it's so easy.
And it's so easy. And I think as
Yeah.
a student, you should definitely tap into that online
Yeah.
market.
100%. And like, do you think the flexibility of these kind of jobs helps with your study?
I mean, for me personally, doing a lot of casting editing is what I do already in my course. I mean, I do a lot of streaming on the side. So streaming is definitely a way that you can just do at any time. Even if you go live as on TikTok, for example, the TikTok live, you can go live, I think, for about 30 minutes or an hour. And once you do that, you get rewards, you go up in levels, and then you actually get more commissions. So the more gifts that like a viewer will send you, the more you will get off that. So extra money again for food, rent, and anything that can contribute towards uni.
Yeah. So how successful have you found streaming?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I've been streaming just the other week. I actually got my 3-year anniversary. I've been streaming every day pretty much for 3 years. So I started just before uni, and I think it was I started in April 2023.
Yeah.
So around that time, because I started in September 2023, around that time I was thinking about uni. Originally, I wasn't thinking about going to uni at all, but then I saw a lot of paths it can go into. I mean, for me personally, I'm going into the teaching progression, but I find that streaming, especially dealing with a lot of viewers at once and be able to moderate and be able to play different games and be able to interact with people, it's really something that's rewarding. And to even get a creator fund out of that as well it's just a lovely job, really.
100%.
Yeah.
So, like, how would you say that like the streaming fits with your week, with your study? 'Cause obviously, we have independent study, and with you being in third year as well.
Yeah, so obviously I normally start the day about like in the morning at 9 or 10, and then I do some work. It depends on the day if I've got lectures or not, but I'll tend to try and get my work done during the day, and any sort of like practice for casting or editing or any sort of like gaming stuff, as well as sometimes you have to play the games to know what to cast, if it makes sense. So I tend to do that during the day and then go out for any sort of like extra things I need, like haircut or get some supplies, and then I normally do some work towards the evening, and then I normally stream around like 10 to 12 p.m. because I find that midnight is a sort of cut off point for me personally, where it's like, yeah, bedtime after that. So I used to try to stream like multiple hours a day, but I find that obviously being third year now, I always just try and get in that hour, because obviously TikTok is a platform where you have to stream about 30 minutes or an hour to get those extra rewards and whatnot. So yeah, I mean, even if it's just an hour a day, I think just being consistent in whatever you do really is really important.
And so, how do you find it fits in with all the content creation and the charity work? You got quite a lot packed in.
Yeah, it can get quite, I wouldn't say overwhelming, but it can definitely get quite busy. I think it's, in terms of, for me, it's prioritizing things. So at the start of the year when I took on the Oddballs Foundation role, the priority for them, even though yes, we're doing a role for them, is uni, because they're aware we're all uni students, we're all uni ambassadors. So for me, it's always uni will take a bit of precedence. Now, in saying that, there's some days where I'll have a talk in the morning and I will miss a lecture, but my lecturer fully aware that they're quite understanding and very helpful with that. And the beauty of actually being a digital content producer for the SU is you kind of decide a lot of the hours. So I could finish a lecture at 12, I could just walk up to the SU and I could work there all afternoon. Me and there's another girl I work with, we work quite closely as a team, and we kind of decide between ourselves when we want to record. So it's extremely flexible in working with the other two, and I found that really valuable this year.
Amazing. And you kind of touched on my next point. How do you avoid like burnout and overcommitments within your studies?
So for me personally, I always make sure that I have at least a time, because I did have a time where I would literally just try and do like loads of work in one day and next day it'd be nothing. So creating more of a balance of work. So instead of doing like 12 hours of work one day and then none the next day, it's just about like going out for a bit and then saying I want to have some time to myself, especially if I'm doing like extra work and stuff on the side. Sometimes even recently I've committed to a lot of work as I'm part of like an agency as well, so I can do any extra work on that. Again, with the sort of freelance work, like agency stuff, you can work around the area, something that I sort of started doing last year as well. So yeah, I'd say always making sure I at least spend a couple hours myself just to like do some gaming or play some, have a nice dinner, cook some nice stuff. So yeah.
So what about you?
Yeah, I'm massively into time by myself. Obviously, I have a quite a large group of friends that are kind of there to support me in terms of if I burn out, but it's also quite nice. It's just quite nice at the end of the day to go back to your own kind of room, which in uni, and you guys will understand this, is kind of your safe space in uni, because nobody else will come into that area.
You can shut the door and
You
forget
can
about
shut the door
it.
and forget everything. Whereas if you go to the kitchen, there's always going to be somebody, or the living room or whatever, there's always somebody. but I think your bedroom's kind of your safe space. So it's something as simple as just sticking your AirPods in your earphones and just listening to music by yourself. Could also, I find just walking around Chai is quite nice. It's actually a really nice
Yeah,
place
no,
to
it's
walk around.
nice. You've got Priory Park and
I-
like, the
yeah,
Cathedral
100%.
Gardens. It's so lovely.
I quite like the high street as well.
Yeah, it's quite nice.
Sunny shops, yeah.
Especially when it's sunny out, so you really can't complain, and it's perfect to get a little bit of recharge time.
Yeah. So kind of leading on from that, how, like, when you've got your deadlines, like your dissertation, how do you then manage that on top? Because that's an added extra commitment.
I mean, I just try to do one task at a time, like go day by day. There's a lot of people, especially in the past, even myself, of like always we'll see one deadline. You're like, oh crap, like I need to get it done. Like I need to get it done. But I just say do a bit of work each day. Like even my mum tells me, just do one bit of work each day.
Yeah.
As long as like you're on track. Obviously, I've got an estimation, and right now, I mean, I don't want to jinx it, but like I'm finishing before the deadline. But yeah, it's just making sure that you're on track and not like doing too much, but not doing too little, if that makes sense. So keeping, again, what I said earlier, like a nice balance. Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, I use, as I'm sure a lot of people use, Time Tree. I find it is so useful in organising a day, and I'm one of those people, I have to have everything organised bit by bit. So if I'm waking up in the morning, I'm like, okay, I'm doing X, Y, and Z today. For example, this week, I knew this week was fully all going to be just every day in the library, and I'm fine with that. That works well, and I like coming into, obviously we start uni back next week. I'm gonna like coming into this semester and have more of a relaxed approach in terms of balancing work and then oddballs, but then also take a more sociable approach this semester because most of my work will have been done this week.
Exciting. So what's your biggest challenge been, like, doing work alongside your studies?
Yeah, I definitely say in the first year, I wasn't so used to the sort of workload. And yeah, I ended up like struggling a little bit towards the start. But then I gave myself time. I believed in myself. And as it went forward, I managed to, I realized that like I could talk with my lecturers as well. So booking in those one-to-ones with my lecturers really did help. And was like a lot of lecturers, they were really much
They're there
there
to
for you.
help you, which I think
Exactly,
everyone
yeah.
forgets.
I know sometimes at the start I was like, oh no, I'm on my own. But yeah, one-to-ones with my lecturers, I've got a really nice lecturer on my course. And yeah, I've done some of that, and also just talking with sometimes friends or family. I know it's not always an option for everyone, but like especially whatever you can have, like even if you just talk with someone, even if they don't know about it, sometimes it's good to like even talk to others about it, especially as a subject I do not a lot of people know about yet. Even a lot of people, like even today, like they're like, oh, what is it? So it's always good to like, I wouldn't say like I don't like educate and like tell them, oh yeah, like it's all this, but it's always, especially the people who are interested, it's
And you
always
can
good to have
bounce
a
off
talk.
ideas as well, even if they don't understand, it can then help with your studies.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I'd probably add to that point as well in terms of uni is definitely something, yes, you might feel a little bit alone at times, but it's definitely something you can lean on other people with. And I think for me this year, it's been leaning on the right people. So yes, I've had a lot more kind of pressure in terms of being in uni and then stuff with charity work and then work stuff, but it's leaning on the right people. I mean, the folks I work for up at the SU are phenomenal at giving you the space if you need it or the time. And that's worked really well for me. It's the same for over at the Oddballs Foundation. They are very understanding. Everyone's a uni student. I think that's helped a lot. And it's the same here. Like you say, lecturers, they're out to get you. They're out to help you, especially at Chai, where the lecturers know their students quite well. They're there for you. And that goes the same for friends. So it's not something, if you're struggling, you don't have to struggle alone. You can kind of lean on the right people if needs be.
You know, I really do agree with that. I think that it's quite easy for everyone to get all consumed by their dissertation or their essays on that. But actually making that balance and reaching out to everyone, actually you then do get the social bit. I feel like some people will hide in the library too much, and it's about finding that balance and knowing that everyone is there to help you, whether it's a lecturer or a friend or like someone you just see around in the canteen. Like everyone is there. And I think Chai is also such a welcoming space, which is why I came here. Like it's such a small uni and everyone gets on so well. There's so many events. Everyone's so helpful. So building onto that, what is one tip you would give students for coming to uni and managing work and their studies?
So I'd say in terms of doing studies, it was all interconnected for me, but getting yourself out there in the first couple of weeks, I found that I went to some of like the freshers fair in my first year. I went to some of like the parties and that, and the amount of friends that I met just off that, like even just if someone asks, oh, do you want to go to the go to the canteen or whatever, then yeah, go for it, honestly. But I mean, I met my first friend, I think, in the lecture hall because we were, what is it? We were there the induction. I just literally walked up to them and sat next to someone, and then he said, "Oh, I'll do esports." I was esports, and then out of that one friend, I was talking to like 10 people straight off that. So just getting yourself out there and getting those connections really at the start, getting a good first impression, really, really useful for me personally.
Amazing.
Yeah, I think it's really about putting yourself out there, like James said. I think in terms of coming to uni, yes, it's quite scary, and you've got people who have left home for the first time, and people are just 18 or maybe a bit older, and it's a whole new experience. You could be living away, but it's trying to get yourself out there. I think I want to touch back on the point you'd said about Chai is quite small, but I think that's what makes it so great because it feels more like a family. Like any of us could walk through campus right now, and you could bump into maybe 10, 20 people you know and just have a little chat, or friends of friends. Like everyone kind of knows of each other. And I think when you come into an environment like this, yes, you don't know that at first. Like I didn't know that when I entered first year, but I think it's important to put yourself out there. And I think stuff like your studies going well and then finding a job, I think that then all comes naturally as well. I think just don't stress yourself out. Like I said, it's a completely new environment. Just put yourself out there, and I think it'll all kind of fall into place.
Yeah, 100%. And then I feel like you find the work then more rewarding because it's not a stress because you then have that balance. Can you share like one memorable moment you have from like working while at university?
So in terms of the ambassador work, yeah, I managed to find a couple of friends out of that. So that was really good, just being able to go around the Chichester campus and outside the campus. So I managed to actually, because I'm on Boulder campus, but by doing some of these photo shoots, I managed to explore more of Chichester. And I mean, there's certain parts of it I didn't even know about, like the gardens there, really nice, and going like around the cathedral gardens. And no, like that for me, in terms of working at the university, was a highlight for me.
Amazing.
Yeah, I'd break it into two bits. So, with the digital content work, we've the creative freedom to kind of make a series, if it suits. So we came up with one just before, that was the SU tries, and I think one of the highlights for that was in the first kind of episode of that, getting flung into the air by the cheerleaders. That is something I did not put on my university bucket list, but it was quite funny to record. And they were such a great bunch. And then in terms of All Balls Foundation work, I think it just goes back to talking to so many people. I didn't think a year ago I'd be sitting talking to a room of a couple of thousand kids about testicular cancer. And it's just, I'm very glad I decided to throw my hat in the ring and do that. But something I never thought I'd do at uni.
Yeah, it was really rewarding. So, has working while studying taught you any new kind of skills or life skills?
I mean, for me personally, one thing I'll touch on as well. So the university did give me a teaching opportunity last year, and that was really good. I managed to have some people from like the Regis School, some kids from Regis School, and a couple of schools surrounding in Chichester. I think from Chichester College as well. They came in, just conducted a couple of lessons, and talked to them about university life. That was really good because it sort of, especially going to like teaching opportunities for myself, it really gave me that sort of connection and that confidence, like even more confidence to be able to like connect. Because again, like going into teaching, I didn't always have the best sort of experience when growing up with teaching. So being the teacher that I sort of wish I had is definitely a motivation for being at uni. And I love the opportunities that university has given me. So.
That's why I'm doing my course. 'Cause I'm doing teaching musical theatre.
Yeah.
And like it's all for like drama and like theatre has such a range of access for like other students, and I think it's so important. And like the other courses also having those teaching opportunities,
Yeah.
it teaches you like skills for yourself and also how to teach yourself as well. And I think that's really good. So what about you?
Yeah, I'm going to go off the kind of self-confidence route and then also the independence route. So kind of obviously growing up and until you kind of leave the house or the situation when you're younger, you take a lot of your values off the people you see and your parents or whoever it may be. I think coming into uni where it's such a new environment and you're at that stage where you're doing everything yourself. That's looking for a job, maybe doing a side hustle, making new friends, everything. You kind of learn yourself a little bit and you learn your independence and also more who you are as a person. So I think when you come into uni and maybe you're looking for a job or you're doing something that you maybe wouldn't have done previous to uni, it's kind of just about finding yourself a little bit, but also growing your self-confidence at the same time. And I'd say if I look at myself this year and then last year, I really didn't think I'd do all these things. Like, well, I didn't think I'd be sitting on a podcast for a start. I didn't think I'd be delivering loads of talks to kids about testicular cancer. I didn't think I'd be out in the student community recording stuff with students for like TikTok and Instagram. And I look back at myself from this year to last year, and I think I have grown quite a lot. So yeah.
So what's one like piece of advice you would give to students and they're like considering to get a job alongside their studies? What would be your main tip for them?
I'd say obviously get yourself out there, apply on the Indeed, and I'd say also go to the place. I found like when I've got jobs in the past, like if you see an establishment or a certain place that you want to go to, like just really actually going to the place and just making yourself, obviously, I wouldn't say like beg it or anything, but definitely trying a few times. I mean, even for a couple of jobs that I got, I had to apply a few times, but I'm not like forcing it. It's just like if you want that job, obviously you're not going to just
You've got to apply yourself.
yeah, you're not just going to like give up at the first time. But with the university life as well, obviously first year, I wouldn't say be rushing. And for me personally, I didn't rush into jobs because the experience in the first year it's a complete new thing compared to being at home. Especially for me being like an hour or two away. It's not as far as some. Obviously you're in like Newcastle or something, but definitely being away from home. I was a bit nervous actually starting at uni, being fair away from home. So I've never been away from home before, but just getting myself out there, especially having some people there. If you're on your own, it's obviously gonna be a lot harder. So if you can find people, but if not, then obviously just keep connections wherever you can. Yeah.
Yeah, I think just stay true to yourself, sort of thing. I think when I came here from home, looking at a job was actually kind of one of my priorities, just because living in uni is quite expensive. We know that. And finding a job was a priority. And I think I had done quite a few different job interviews kind of in town, but because you tell people where you're from and that you're going to go back there at Christmas, they're immediately a bit like, we're kind of not going to take you off that. Eventually, I got one in the December, which was it wasn't a really fun job. It was at one of the burger shops in China. And it really just wasn't something I enjoyed at all. And then the one up at the SU eventually rolled around in September. And I think that kind of happened for a reason. I'm a big believer in kind of everything happens for a reason. I think just stay true to yourself. Like the right one will come, especially if you're looking for a job, it will come.
Yeah. So how would you guys decide and give that kind of advice for is it worth it right now? What jobs are worth it right now?
So obviously jobs that aren't too like strenuous, if you're going for like a really like tough committing job alongside a degree, I mean, I do believe in a challenge. I came to university with the mindset of this is going to be a challenge. I never thought for 1 minute, oh, this is going to be easy. But at the same time, like you should respect yourself and give time to yourself as well. Like if you're just doing too much, you're just going to burn yourself out, and like you're going to potentially like ruin your studies, and like your studies now could determine your like whole lifetime. So managing to put in a lot of time for uni, as well as obviously job is good, but I definitely say getting the studies done and doing what you love doing is definitely like I'd put it as a priority.
Yeah, I think for some people kind of coming into uni, you have to like, find a job of some sort. And whether that's a job that works 30 hours or works 10, they just kind of have to make it work. Ideally, like James had said, a job that really fits around your studies and all you do, say it's like 10, 12 hours a week or whatever it is, that really fits quite nicely around kind of your schedule, whether that's socially, whether that's in uni. But I think it's just finding a job that you're going to enjoy. And if you get a little bit of enjoyment out of it, it's only going to enhance your uni experience a little bit more.
100%. Would you recommend finding a job that links in with your future career, or would you think it doesn't really matter first off?
Yeah, I think it's quite hard to find a job that kind of fits in exactly with your uni course. Like even the job I have as a content producer, it's not something that's relevant to my course at all. It's just something that I've enjoyed as a side hustle over the years, and I'm really blessed that I have that. But I think it's quite hard, especially around Chai, to find something that's kind of relevant to your course. Now, if you do, amazing. I mean, it fits in, like you're getting experience and you're probably having a good time doing it as well because it's something you want to do when you're older. but I think most of the time it's a job that's not necessarily related, but that doesn't have to mean it's a bad thing. I think a lot of people enjoy their job.
I'd just like to touch in that. I mean, it's not even the job itself. I'd say just the sort of baseline around it, having the routine, it's a bit like being at uni. Being at uni is showing that you're committed to something for 3 years. Having a job on top of that means that you can commit to multiple things.
It looks so good on your CV.
Yeah, an employer is going to be like, yeah, this guy or girl, whatever, can deal with a lot. And yeah, routine,
It
confidence.
speaks volumes.
Yeah, sure.
100%. So thank you so much for sharing that. That's really insightful. So I think the key is it's really important to have work and side hustles. It gives a great break for from your studies, but also having that social balance, having that time for yourself and actually focusing on the skills for life, because it's not just about the job itself. So I want to thank our guests for joining us and thank you for listening. I've had a great time. Next time, we're going to explore healthy habits from students from physiotherapy and creative writing. You can book an open day or VIP campus tour with us to see everything that our uni has to offer. Just visit chai.ac.uk/open day. Thank you so much for our guests for sharing your experiences, and thank you for listening.